Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. And welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to That Reefer Guy. They call me That Reefer Guy because I haul refrigerated freight around the country. But you know what? I haven't hauled any freight in about 10 days. I'm actually driving to my truck right now because I am leaving out tomorrow. But I haven't been to my truck in 10 days. I actually went on vacation. When I got back from vacation, it was super cold out here in Minnesota, like minus 20 degrees. So I didn't want to go and try and start my truck and crap like that. So yeah, we're going to go to my truck right now and make sure that I can run the reefer and the truck starts. I did drain my water separator before I left. I did treat my fuel very, very heavy before I left and let the truck sit. So fingers crossed that it starts and that I don't need to replace any fuel filters or anything like that. So yeah, make sure you give me a thumbs up on this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Well, here I am at the truck. Like I said, I have not started my truck in like 10 days. So I'm going to connect the batteries and try and fire up the truck and make sure everything works on the truck and the trailer. All right, I did just open the hood. I just checked the oil. The oil's good. The only thing I noticed was over here, and I don't see a leak, but I'm kind of low on my coolant. I usually keep my coolant right here at the minimum cold level. Sometimes I'm in the middle of the minimum cold and the cold max. I never fill it up there, but I don't see anything on the ground of coolant leaking. So I'm gonna have to add some coolant here. All right, as you can tell, I just added the coolant. I didn't go all the way up to the fill line. I hardly ever do. And like I said, I don't see anything that tells me my coolant was leaking at all. It didn't even take a quarter of a gallon to go from right here up to here. So it's not something I'm going to worry about unless I notice it often. Another thing I noticed is before I left, I filled one of these. I drained my water separator. Now I know that that didn't drain all the fuel out of the water separator. I only drained what was in here, and I noticed that there's fuel in there. Obviously more fuel came down from the water separator. So what I'm going to do now is drain this again, and then I'm probably going to have to prime the filter. So on mine, I just loosen this. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's empty. Oh no, there we go. I'm going to drain a little bit of it here, and then I'm going to prime it back up. All right, now I'm just going to prime this filter again. And you want to push this down until you start. It's already, yeah, this filter's already got fuel in it. It's already getting hard to pump. Well, what's that glove doing up there? Well, that is my main battery connection. I do not have a battery kill switch on this truck. So every time I leave the truck for at least 3 or 4 days, I always disconnect this from here. So now I'm going to reconnect the main power to the truck. Well, something else I'm going to check is I'm going to check the fuel in the tanks. Now they're not all the way full, but they were pretty full when I left. And like I said, I treated the fuel very heavy. So I'm just looking, yeah, that fuel looks good. The other thing is, it's really warm out now. When I parked the truck, it was very cold, but I don't know if you can see down into my tank here. The tank is almost full and that fuel looks just fine. So maybe you can see into this tank better. That fuel looks just fine. It doesn't look discolored. It doesn't look cloudy or anything like that. So yeah, that fuel looks just fine to me. Well, the truck's running. You do hear the low air alarm going off. That's because I drained my tanks before I left. So I'm building up air pressure right now, but I'll probably let the truck run 45 minutes to an hour, let all the fluids warm up, and let the truck get warm. But yeah, so far it looks like, oh, the alarm already went off. Looks like everything's been fine with the truck for sitting for 10 days. So after I do the truck, I got to work on the trailer. So I did build up all the air systems. And what I'm going to do now is get in here and just drain my tanks a little bit and see if I see any moisture coming out of them. So just listen. All right, now I'm doing a pre-trip on the Reefer. I'm just looking at everything, making sure once I look at the pan that I don't see, I'm looking at the belts right now. These belts were replaced, man, not that long ago, maybe a couple of months ago. They actually still look like they're holding up really well. Then I come down here to the pan, make sure I don't see any oil or anything leaking. All good there, all good on this side. Next thing I do is I'm gonna check the oil. Now there's a couple of ways that I do this. Obviously, you check the dipstick. Make sure that it's in the safe zone on the dipstick, which it is. The other way you can tell is you want to see oil. The minute you take this off the dipstick, you want to be able to look down in there and see oil, which I do. So I know the unit is full of oil. I am gonna shut the doors now and run it through a pre-trip. So like I said, I'm gonna run the unit through a pre-trip. So I'm gonna switch it on, wait for everything to light up and come on. So the unit is starting up. This unit's actually gonna scare me. It hasn't ran in quite a while and it was super cold out. But like I said, I'm gonna do a pre-trip. So I hit menu, I go to pre-trip, I hit the equal sign, and now the unit is going to run through a pre-trip. So I'm walking away from the unit because it's really loud, but it did start. That was my biggest concern. This, like I said, the truck and trailer haven't ran for 10 days. I did treat the fuel really, really heavy, but it got super cold here in Minnesota. So once the unit is done going through its pre-trip, I'm gonna turn the unit on start and stop, probably make it like 10, 20 degrees warmer than it is out here, and just see if it like stalls out or anything like that. I think if it was gonna stall out, it would stall out right now as it's running through its pre-trip. Well, the unit has completed its pre-trip. Everything passed, so I should be good. Now it's just gonna start up to 60 degrees. So I did move my Reefer, my trailer, slid my fifth wheel forward. So I don't have a lot of room now between the Reefer unit and the actual trailer. Definitely helps on my fuel economy. What I wanted to do was put more weight on my steer axles. So now usually when I'm loaded, I'm at like 11,800 pounds on my steer axles. I actually had to do that because I took a load out in Montana. I picked up a sulfur load in my Reefer trailer and I was overweight on my tandems. My drives. I couldn't, no matter what I did with the tandems on the trailer, I couldn't get the weight right on my drive. So what I did was I slid the trailer, I slid the fifth wheel forward two spots. I slid it forward 2 spots, and that dispersed the weight that I needed onto the steer axle, and I was legal on my drives. I think I ended up being like 33,950 pounds on my drive axles that trip. But what I noticed was I started getting better fuel economy, so I left the trailer right here, but it is really close. I don't have a lot of room. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell here, but I don't have a lot of room to get down off the step here, off my catwalk, which is right here, with the unit being right there. Well, I just looked at a calendar. Today is my 12th day off. But I think we're good. I think all systems are green and ready to go for tomorrow. The Reefer passed its pre-trip. Then I let it run for about a half hour and it didn't stall out. The truck started up just fine. I did drain my water separator and reprime the system, but everything seems good. I actually took the truck out and drove it to the highway and back with no problems. So everything should be good for tomorrow. Yeah, I highly recommend not letting your truck sit this long without putting eyes on it and making sure everything's okay. But you know what? I went on vacation for a while, and when I came home from vacation, it was just too cold to come here and do what I did today. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Until next time, you know what it is. Keep on trucking.